Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. Hello and how are you all? We're all doing very, very well. And welcome to another magazine edition on the Kilt-Man channel. The magazine edition for the, hang on a moment, the 4th of April 2023. This is where we just kick back and just shoot the breeze and talk about things that have happened, things that are happening, things that may yet happen. And right now, the very first thing I want to talk about, and because it, rightly or wrongly, it made me laugh. Have you seen that Russian vlogger that got blown kaputski in St. Petersburg in a cafe bar? You can't kill enough of them, I'm afraid. Now, I'm not anti-Russian, but I'm anti-Russians who are pro-Kremlin, who are promoting, the invasion of Ukraine and the hatred of the West. And this guy, whose name I cannot be arsed even trying to remember, was a vlogger, and he was massively promoting the invasion of Ukraine. He was actively denouncing the idiocy of what he termed as idiocy of certain Russian commanders and certain high up officials within the Russian defense department, or whatever they call themselves. And so denounced them, but was promoting, be active, kill more Ukrainians, it's our land. He actually said, I'm going to paraphrase this, he actually said along the lines of, and I think I'm mostly correct, we'll take what we want, we'll kill whoever we want, we will loot whatever we want, and you can't stop us, meaning the Russian invasion force. And he was very close to Putin as well. And anyway, this guy got blown to smithereens. And there's plenty of footage of this. A young woman is seen going into this establishment carrying a box which has a bust of this guy. A bust for him. Now his security guards say, well, no, that could be a bomb. It is! And so I think they take it off her and they think, oh, maybe it's all right then. And they give it to him. I don't think it's the girl herself that gives it to him. But either way, he's there and they open the box and it's a bust of him. And he's like, you can see he's quite like, it's me. And then seconds later, boom! And he's blown to pieces. I think 30 other people were injured. No one else was killed. If you see that blast from outside, it takes out an entire, all the storefronts, windows. It looks like when John McClane drops the computer with all the Semtex, all the C4 down the elevator shaft in Die Hard. Boom, 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 man. 30 other people got injured, but not killed. Only he got killed. On the UK news, they did this thing where, this footage could be disturbing. When really we're all going, yes! And they show, it shows, the moment before the explosion and the moments afterwards, so the aftermath. But they blanked out various things, sort of blared out, pixely blared out in the devastated cafe. And of course, they're all the bits of him all over the place. He's one of these jerk-offs who, like in the Serbo-Croat war, just a nobody that gave himself a rank and insignia. So he'd wear military fatigues. He'd have some kind of military rank which he'd awarded himself. These fucking dickheads, And he had been to Ukraine and he visited Russian troops on the front line and all that. Now, before anyone starts going oh, you can't condone that sort of thing. Well, yes, I can. He is pardoning and condoning and encouraging, an active invasion, which is completely illegal on every international level. And war atrocities and war crimes have been committed by the Russians. The Russian people themselves at large aren't being told the real story. They're being told that the state-sanctioned news, like China, and haven't got a clue. But bit by bit, news comes in. Remember that female newscaster who ran past the screen during a news broadcast saying, stop the war is wrong, and then she was whisked off forthwith. Gulag for her. People in Russia are beginning to hear and get filtered news of this. Oh, speaking of Russia anyway, let's... this is James Horner's score for the great Arnie movie, Red Heat, from Walter Hill. And Arnie is the Russian cop Ivan Danko with the best flat top I've ever seen. And anyone who goes, he's not ginger, watch that movie. His hair's fucking bright red in that movie because he's a red under the bed. It's a Ruski, it's a communist. So I've got no vodka here right now, but to whoever got blown apart, erase this. You're a dickhead and you deserved it. Kaboomski! They arrested the girl. The girl was found and arrested. And they said to her, who gave you this? I don't know. There's a lot of speculation now as to who was behind this. And all the skullduggery of the Russians, what did it used to be called? The Politburo and the KGB, they're all different terminologies now. But Putin's regime, they reckon, it's Ukrainian terrorists who were against us. Could be. It could be that the girl herself did not know what was in that box. If you see footage of her walking the street carrying this thing, she's completely oblivious to that's a bomb. She's got a bomb in her hands. And she's trying to open the door and hold this box and open the door, the big glass door, to get in there. And then go up and down the stairs that are in there with all these security guards. It wasn't a suicide pact. She wasn't going to blow herself up. She was just the mule carrying this device to the intended target. So whether she knew what was in there or not, none of us know. But speculation arises, is it Ukraine, as the Russians are saying, it's Ukrainian terrorists, But to bolster public opinion, to back Putin and, the war in Ukraine, which apparently, is, according to him, is a war on terrorism, which is what he tells his people. To get the public responding positively to his actions and his military involvement, why not kill a leading light and pretend it's one of the bad guys? See, this is what we're doing. They are terrorists who are running, the Ukraine. That's why we must stamp them out. The Ukraine belongs to us. The Ukrainians want to be part of us as well, because that's what he tells his own people. That's what he's saying to them. All lies and propaganda. And so it's a way of doing it. The Russians often take out their own people to try to coerce opinion in different ways, and for a lot of different clandestine reasons, of course. They're not alone in that. We've done it. The Americans do it a lot, and Middle Eastern governments do it on a daily basis. But so an assassination was made there, and it's got to be. He's looking at an effigy of himself, so he kills himself. Boo! Oh. But amazing that no one else died, because it's when you see that absolute eruption of glass windows and the shockwave. Jesus. Anyway, so she's been arrested, probably never to be seen again. Gulag or taken into square and shot in back of head, or worse. But anyway, so that was that's what piqued my attention, certainly. Other news, this is sad news. The great composer, the Japanese composer Ryuichi Sakamoto, died at the age of 71 of cancer. He died on March the 28th, but they only announced it on April the 2nd that he passed away. Now, he'd had cancer for a good few years, but he'd beaten it, went into remission, and then it came back in different parts of his body. And but he kept on saying, look, this is going to get me, but I can still make music as long as I'm alive. And sadly, he's gone now. Sakamoto, Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence, Under the Shelter in the Sky, Little Buddha, The Last Emperor. Oh God, so many great scores and collaborations with other artists as well. And he did the 1992 Barcelona Olympics theme. And it's incredible. This doesn't sound very Russian, does it? But this is the full Horner soundtrack to Red Heat. And this, of course, Ivan Danko, Arnie, tracking down a Georgian drug czar to America, ends up in Chicago and meets Jim Belushi. So you get all this, the sleaziness of Chicago as well, and how Danko has to negotiate that. One day I will cover that movie properly, and because it is great, and it come out sort of the back end of Arnie's mostly triumphant run in the 80s, you know, and it is great. So, what else? So we lost Sakamoto, and we lost that Russian twat. Oh, by the way, the Russian oligarchs are not happy with all the money that they're now losing because of this stupid war that Putin's raging. So was that guy taken out by one of them? You know, he's promoting Putin. Boom, we can get close to you because he's close to you, and we took him out. You know, you better start towing the line because we're losing money here. And where's that money being laundered? London, old London town. Remember when the invasion first happened, just over a year ago now? All the press was reporting that, well, and the politicians are going to clamp down on the Russian oligarchs. They haven't. They're all still there. Despite all the sanctions that were placed upon Russia worldwide, it's still achieving everything it wants to do, you know, albeit at a very slow snail's pace. You know, if they wanted to, if they could convince all their armies, all their soldiery and conscripted soldiers, they could just steamroll over the Ukraine. But no, because what's happening? Everyone's getting out of Russia. They're trying to leave. And there's another place they could possibly go to, because Finland, as of today, has joined NATO, the 31st nation to join NATO. It's historic. It was breaking news just before, but Finland has now joined NATO. So there's another one against the East. Cheers, y'all. Cheers, Finland. I'm no warmonger. I'm not. I know the insides of it from a military perspective, and I know the outside of it from a political perspective, and working with certain government departments. I've seen it from every angle, and it's never right. It's never really justified. But, you know, a soldier's got to do what a soldier's got to do. But Russia, the people I keep saying are wonderful. I know Russians. I know a few Russians. Be a searchlight on me now. And, you know, they're great. They're just like us. You know, they just want to live, want to make a bit of money, you know, want a happy life. Go out, have a laugh, have a drink. They're not vicious, evil brutes. They're not. The people in charge are. And they have the ability to foster a huge, amassed array of like-minded people. But a lot of it's born out of threat and intimidation, same as in China. Just saying, folks. So, let's move on. What else has happened? Here's one for you. I did report, I think recently, about a police plane which was, one Friday night, was circling for hours and hours right over the rooftops all around here, and the Kilt-Man should be having high battlements and ramparts and turrets and towers, you know, in danger of losing a few of those. This thing was so low and noisy, and for hours. And I phoned the police, I challenged the police. Why is it up there? Is it one of yours? And they put you through to someone else, and I got put through to the relevant department, you know, the Blue Thunder squad of Merseyside Airborne Police. And he said, yeah, it's one of ours. I said, well, Oh, hang on. She actually went, oh, we've had a few calls about this. I said, well, is it one of yours? And, oh, I'll just go and check. And then she came back a couple of minutes afterwards and she went, yeah, it's one of ours. And I was thinking, hang on, you've just told me you've had a load of calls about this. So you should know so obviously when each call's come through, you've got, oh, I'll go and check. So by now, you know, another call comes through. You know what to say. Yeah, it's one of ours. Don't worry about it. Is it just me? Is that just me? You know, she should know the answer already. I'll just go check. Oh yeah, it's one of ours, but don't worry about it. It'll be over soon. Be over in like half an hour or something, I think she said. And I went, right, are you sure about that? Do you even know what it's doing? Oh, it's nothing to worry about, but it'll be over in half an hour. A minute before, you had to go and check, but now you even know it's flight plan, and it's when it's going to be away from our area. But she was right about that. It had gone within that time scale. So, now, don't worry, it hasn't returned. That police plane hasn't returned unless it's multiplied. It's cloned itself. Because yesterday and today, we have really azure blue skies, absolutely unmarked by clouds, nothing. And it's a spring day. In the sun, it's lovely and warm. In the shade, it's not so warm, but it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. The sky is just to die for, and but it's marred by one thing, well, rather a lot of things. The sheer number of planes which are in the air. And they're leaving all their contrails and there's all zigzag patterns and all that. Now, I am not going to sit here and go, oh, it's chemtrails, they're seeding the air. Well, who knows? But an engine, a hot engine in the high, very, very cold sky, it's going to leave a trail. It's water vapor, it's like steam, you know. When we breathe out in the cold, it's condensation and all that. Like, so it is that. And sometimes it stays for a lot longer than you think. Like a plane can go past and it's gone within a second, or there isn't any sort of contrail at all. And then others seem to last for hours in the same area. Now, I don't want to go like, oh, it's conspiracy, but it's remarkably odd. I could not count. This is yesterday when I took the dog out. I was in the cemetery and really looking up at the sky, and it was wonderful. And it was just, in fact, I was quite impressed by the patterns these planes were making. So I couldn't count the planes. I could not count them. They're not big ones. We live in the flight path for Liverpool John Lennon Airport, and we get planes coming that go to Manchester Airport as well. We get all this. But they're usually travelling one way, and it's where you're looking now. It's coming back. It's coming back over the Irish Sea and the Mersey, and it's going to come in. You know, it's coming out. Let me get that right. It's coming out of Liverpool. It's gone its turn in a second. It's coming out, and the other ones are Manchester, so they're going the other way. But these aren't big passenger planes. These are small planes. Very small, silvery, glintery things like, but they're going. Some of them are very, very high. We have a lot of military planes and helicopters do go up and down the Mersey, and they're on their way to various places. But a lot of RAF Valley and Anglesey get a lot of traffic coming up and down the Mersey, like jets, just supersonic booms, and people always look up. It's gone. The second you've heard that boom, it's about 60 to 100 miles away already. And you go, oh, where is it? Great though, but I'll tell you what we have had a lot of lately as well is big C-130s, not C-130s, what do you call them? Hercules transport helicopters, which are really, really big. Chinooks, I'm getting all my terminology wrong here. Big Chinooks going past, the big, twin rotor, and they sort of sit down really low in the sky, and they're like the biggest, most bionic bumblebee ever, huge, and then you're thinking, God, what's in that? Well, it could be a lot of things. They transport people, vehicles, equipment, all sorts, supplies, so you've got no idea. Been a lot of them lately, and I'm not too sure where they're going to. but they're going down the Mersey towards the sea. You don't see them coming back again. And they're very loud as well. But these planes, and it's like they're making patterns, and these patterns weren't going. I said before, like some disappear within seconds, some stay for a while, but some don't leave any trail at all. But these were all leaving trails, and it was checkerboarding the sky. And I was like, wow, that's really impressive. And you think, well, is that also really, really dangerous? Because I lost count. They're all, you've got, flight control and air traffic control who've got to coordinate all of this. How can you coordinate all of those small planes at once who are flying, on, divergent courses, and they're going different ways and different ways. Some are going that way, some are going that way, some are going that way, some are coming up, but they're all crisscrossing at once. Now, the dog walk would, as usual, culminate in the pub. And we were sitting in the beer garden, and I was talking to Griff and Stewie, and they were both, have you seen all those planes? I said, yeah, I've just been in the cemetery, with the dog. I've just seen them all, yeah. And we looked up in the beer garden, and there was still tons and tons of evidence of all these crisscrossing contrails. And I was saying, well, and Stewie had worked in Liverpool at some point during the day, and then he'd gone out to Chester as well. So that's quite a distance. And he said it's the same in Chester. So that's all over the northwest of England. Can you hear that now? That's a plane going overhead. That's a big one. That's a proper passenger jet going overhead. And going, well, it is the Easter holidays. I put a couple of Easter eggs there just to highlight the fact that we're approaching Easter this weekend. So people, and the kids are off for 2 weeks. So, they're all going on flight. They're not in those little fucking planes. They're not. No, they're not. Unless mummy and daddy's a fucking pilot. Let's go for a little jaunt around the clouds. No. The passenger jets haven't. There's no more of them than there was before. They're still the same, going the same flight path. There's just millions of little planes. What's the little plane armada about? What's going on there? I don't know. Probably fucking nothing. But when you look up at the sky, which I always do, I've always, tell people to look at the sky. Look at the night sky especially. Look at the stars, look at the constellations, look at the Milky Way. Look at the Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights. Or if you're south of the equator, look at the, oh God, what's your version called? Well, it's the Southern Lights anyway. But there's something other, Aurora, I don't know, Australaris. I don't know what it is, but you've got a variation of it as well. And it's just particles being illuminated, being ignited by solar rays. That's all it is. But it looks spectacular. So, but you're also seeing other things. You're seeing satellites going over. You're seeing shooting stars, comets, asteroids. All these things are up there all the time. But you're also seeing other things too. And if you're into things like this, like UFOs, or they're not called UFOs now, they're called unidentified aerial phenomena. That's a governmental thing, a worldwide governmental thing. No, we've changed the moniker of these things now. They're not classed as UFOs anymore. A UFO is just an unidentified flying object. It's in the sky, it's moving, it's flying, it's unidentified. That's all it is. No one's saying it's Martians. No one's saying they're from the constellation of, I don't know, Heidi Klum. No one's saying what they are. But there's something you can't identify. But now it's unidentified aerial phenomena. Designations on the arse. But look at the sky. You'll see things so long as you pay attention. And it's beautiful. I'm not saying, oh God, that's a coming invasion. I'm not saying that. There's things up there. I see things all the time, and it's become kind of de rigueur. But that's the beauty of living in an area where you have got a patch where light pollution doesn't affect it. I've said before that at the front of the Kilt-Man mansion, there's a lot of street lighting, and you've got Liverpool, and you've got all these lights burning up and all that. So in certain areas, but you go to the cemetery at the back, there's no street lighting at all for quite a large area. So you can, on a good night, get a big vista of stars. It's nothing compared to going up into the mountains of Scotland or the mountains of Wales or out into the vast wilderness in America or across the Africa. Those skies will be unbelievably more vibrant and populated by amazing, dazzling sights. But you can still find it in the UK or an urban area. If you can go to a park or somewhere where there's no street lighting, or it's pointing downwards, as it should be canopied and pointing downwards, but you can look up and you will see the majesty of the firmament that's up there. The heavens get unveiled for you. But yeah, so looking up at the sky yesterday and just seeing all these things, I was like, is there something going on? Is there like an aerial display? How can you have that many planes in the sky at once? That, because to organise that, okay, the pilots can see where they're going. They've got their own instrumentation and all that. Oh, it's a plane over there. I'll go this way then, get out of the way of you. But that's got to be clocked and mapped on radar by controllers who have also got another bunch of planes. Now, at any given time, that's going to be quite, a strenuous task to undertake, to get it right and not cause collisions, keep everyone safe and all that. But when you've got like an uncountable number of planes in a sky that normally only has one or two every, 10 minutes or so, and suddenly there's an uncountable number throughout most of the day. What? And they're all and the patterns they were making, it's like playing OXO, what? They were making checkerboards. It was quite impressive. If that was the idea, then it's really good. We're all airborne aerial artists, triple A's. And they were creating all this wonderful skyborne artistry. Wonderful, yeah. I well done. That takes some doing. But you kind of think, you couldn't allow that many planes in the sky at once. I wouldn't. Air traffic control, I'd be thinking, well, hang on a minute. We've normally only got about, I don't know, for example, over this, say, 50-mile square area of sky. I don't think they gauge it like 50-mile sort of square area of sky, because sky goes up as well. It's quite a big thing. So planes can be like above each other and all that. I get that. But you can see, especially with smaller planes, oh, that's high, that's low as well. There's about 10 at least at the same level here, all heading towards each other. And then there's about another 10 more above. And you could see that to the point where you couldn't count them anymore. So if you've got to logistically organise that, all these flight paths, I wouldn't want to be the controller who was working yesterday or even today. And it's only early today, but already the sky is busy. So, what's next? Right, well, I can tell you there's a canvas arriving today. I'm not sure what it is, but it's arriving, and it's from our good friend Steve 007 Smith, who sends things like that, things like all those you see behind me there. And we played a guessing game, of course. He sent me, well, I'll do it now. He sent me a couple of clues, and he said, I haven't written this down actually. He said this to me yesterday. It's not a film poster, it's fan art, okay? And it's, oh God, what is it now? I know what I think it could be, but I can't think of how he phrased the clues now. He said it's a comedic take on classic horror. Already I know it's gonna be going like, because that's what I was like. It's a comedic take on classic horror. And he said the cast don't get the recognition they deserve for their performances. Well, straight away I got back to him. Without saying, I went, well, there's one for my googly eyes. Googly eyes being Marty Feldman from Young Frankenstein, a film which I've gone on about a hell of a lot without actually reviewing it. And I've always said it's one of the best horror comedies ever, and also one of the best classic horror movies because it's so reference heavy and so accurate and authentic. It's a wonderful movie. And then I thought, he got on to me this morning, he said, like, I think it could be arriving today. Not sure what time though. So, you know, the servants might shout me in a minute and say like, oh, package being drawn across the bridge right now, sir. So I might have to run off and go and collect something. But the other one I thought, I was like, Carry On Screaming. The Carry On movie, which evoked all, not only Hammer, but Universal horrors and all that. Frightened Tonight with Fenella Fielding. Oh my God, looking absolutely vampishly gorgeous. And it is an absolute classic. And I have gone on about that movie as well. So they're the two I'm thinking of. There are other horror comedies, of course there are. But takes on classic horror, really, those two spring to mind. I could be wrong, of course, but I've now given you the clues, so in between you watching this and then me unveiling the canvas, you can make up your own minds. You can even comment below. Steve's going, no, don't let them, because they might, you got it wrong, Kilt-Man, but someone else might tell you what it is, and you go, oh yeah, it's got to be that. Oh, yeah, could work that way, couldn't it? Shit. Cheers, Steve. Cheers, everyone. I also have a short film to review for you. A short film by good friend of mine, Florian Schaefer, has done a movie. So it's very, very short. It's only 11 minutes. And it got to be a finalist in a movie competition. And he sent me the Blu-ray of it. So I'll be covering that, hopefully later on as well. I'll be discussing the themes that he's brought to bear in this movie. So we got that to come as well. The pet peeve of the week. Pet peeve. Well, there is one. And you've all gone through this. Every single one of you's gone through this. And it's when you're bent over. Careful now, steady on. You're bent over. And then you get up and you clock your head, not just like playfully, comically on a shelf or something. Oh, no, you clock it on the very, very sharp edge of like a door, a shelf, something hard, sharp wood, and you go, oh, and you think your head's stuck on it, you think you've been impaled, and you just see like white. It's white hot pain. It's like, oh God, and you go, oh, and you think your brain's gonna start oozing out. You're like, oh God, like a big fountain. Like, and there is blood. It's drawn blood, and it fucking hurts. Oh God, I did that yesterday, and I did it in an area where I've done it about 1 million times before. We've got like the big washroom is just over there, and there's lots of shelves, you know, old school shelves, and there's always something. Oh, can you go and get this? We often put like bottles of Lucasade and cans of lager go in there. So, oh, can you go and get me a can of lager? Says Mrs. Kilt-Man. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. While I'm in there, I'll have one myself. So you bend over and you come up, bang! How is it? You went in, you didn't walk into the shelf, boof, but all you've done is you've walked in and just gone down like that. You haven't moved anywhere, you've just gone vertically down, then you come vertically up. So how has the shelf suddenly got above your head? But it has. And bang, and you have that shudder. You can't see. You're like, oh. And like, forget Tweety Birds going right, like, you know, like the cartoons. They go, they hit with a hammer on the head and big lump goes like that. And it's all like singing Tweety Birds going around. It's all very cute. You don't get fucking Tweety Birds. You just get flaming balls of lightning and napalm. Oh, it's like, Jesus. I look like him. In fact, that's Michael Ironside from the film Scanners. I've covered Scanners a lot. Yeah, he is a scanner. They can make, you know, they can make your body contort and explode just with the power of their own mind. But if you look at that picture there, doesn't it look like he's just been carrying something really heavy and he's dropped it on his foot, on his toe, and he's gone, ooh. It's exactly that. But that's how you feel. You go, oh God. And then and you hold the little puncture wound, like, oh Jesus. And you think, given the impact, that shelf would have just come right off. Its little hinge, its little bracket thing. But small husky wants out. 1 second. I assume she wants to go out. She heads all the way out there. She sits in the conservatory. I almost said shits in the conservatory then. Sits in the conservatory with her nose pressed against the conservatory door. And like, she might just want to like relax in there, 'cause it's nice and warm in there. But no, I always follow her out in case she needs to go and do her business. And open the door. And then she just sort of sits there as the air comes in. She's like, kind of looks at you like, I didn't want to go out. But how do I know? You know, better safe than sorry. So she's out there now. And I looked at the sky while I was out there. And just no contrails at all. How does it happen? Remember I said about spoons? The pet hate of the amount of spoons which suddenly multiply in this kitchen. You know, I use one to do the tea for me, Mrs. Kilt-Man, and my son. There's one spoon there. And then my daughter uses a spoon for her coffee or her green tea or her organic teas, herbal teas. And but then next time you come down, there isn't just those 2 spoons there. There's a whole load of spoons, teaspoons it's not about. There's at least 6. And it's just, where the fuck did it all come from? And it's always down to me to wash these bastards. And I talked about it as the pet peeve, I think, on the last magazine edition. And I thought, I'll show you. So I went round there and there wasn't a single sodden spoon. Not one. Not one. You know, not 6 or 7. Not even one was there. And now, after going on about the contrails and the planes, the sheer fleets, the squadrons of planes that are up there the last few days, there's nothing up there. How? How does it happen? How? So, we've got a canvas on the way. We've got a short film to discuss. We've got many other films to talk about, many other films. And I've suddenly got an interest in the, is it Keira Knightley in The Boston Strangler? I'm very interested in seeing that now. I wasn't initially, but suddenly I've seen a few things about it. I think, oh yeah. Didn't Tony Curtis play the Boston Strangler? Anthony DeSalvo, was it? Or something like that? In a much earlier movie. But I think this one's going to be far more accurate and authentic. I think he killed 13 women and strangled them and arranged their bodies in grotesque sort of sexual positions and things. It's a very dark, sinister case. Because he got killed in prison, didn't he? DeSalvo. And he confessed. He was in for I think he was in for the final murder, and then he confessed to all the others. But there was also 13 rapes as well that he was about to be, condemned for. So he tried to make a plea bargain. You know, I'll confess to these murders. And then before anything happened, he got murdered himself in prison. What goes around comes around. Cheers, you all. Another thing as well, just remembered, Trump indicted. And now he's going to be, right now, I think as we speak, in New York, in a state court, not a federal court. That's a bit unusual. Because the laws are different in America. And it's federal, it's much bigger. A state one is, he can argue the toss about it, which of course he has. Why is Trump going to be in court? Because this is over the alleged hush money to porn star Stormy Daniels. And, for his illicit liaisons with her, and to keep it quiet during his election campaign, he through an intermediary paid it off. And now it's all, it's called come back to bite him on the arse. Now, I am not Trump's biggest fan. I am not a defender of Trump. But I think Trump, despite everything, is infinitely better than Biden. And because Biden hasn't done a fucking thing. He's worked so far against everything that Trump set up. And he's weakened the United States to an almost unsurvivable degree. He has weakened the border, whereas Trump wanted to build a wall there. Biden dismantled the wall, and he also dismantled all of the border forces, the border patrols. He limited their scope. He kept them in an office, literally looking after illegal immigrants, whilst weakening the actual borders across those southern states, so that hundreds of thousands are passing all the time, every day, and they can't be stopped. But it's Chinese who are crossing over the border. Chinese? Why are the Chinese crossing from Mexico into the US? Good question. When they do stop these always young men between 25 and 35, well-dressed, well-fed Chinese men. No families, no kids with them. Unlike the Mexicans who've got families with them. But Chinese men. And when they get stopped, if they get stopped, there's no identification. They're not fingerprinted. There's no IDs on them. So apparently they can't do anything with them. Gotta let them go. How are the Chinese getting into Mexico? They're taking flights out of China to South America and travelling up. Now, in China, nobody can get a flight out of China without the communist government agreeing it. So all these men, it's all been agreed that they can go, get on planes and fly to South America and then travel up through the border into the US. Why are they doing it? Why are they doing it? I don't know, but my hackles have risen. That's an army. That's a standing army that's in the US now. The guy in charge of Canada, Justin Trudeau. I think I mentioned this before as well. I think I've mentioned the Chinese crossing the border as well. But in Canada, Justin Trudeau has allowed Chinese troops to do mountain and Arctic warfare training up in the likes of the Yukon. So now you've got the Chinese army have got a foothold in Canada. You've got all these guys coming up across the border. And a lot of Chinese are buying up land and property around America because America doesn't give a fuck. America, under the Democrats, just takes every fucking... Republicans is just the same as well. Any kind of funding you can get. But Trump would not do anything with China, that's for certain. Biden does. Just ask his son, Hunter Biden. Oh yeah. And your laptop, sir, your laptop. A lot of dealing with China. Why? Why is the American administration and its hoi polloi doing a lot of deals with China? Selling land to China. You have, I forgot the state it's in now. You have a Chinese-run police station in a state in America, and they said it was for our immigrants or any Chinese in the community who have a problem. It's for them to come to us. You've got a Chinese police station run by Chinese police in America. Does any of you out there, besides me, think that that's slightly? Can you imagine in the UK? For those of us in the UK, suddenly you've got a Chinese police station run by Chinese police. I know we're a multinational, nation, supposedly, every ethnicity is allowed, every culture is allowed, but our laws of this country are our laws of this country. China's got different laws, and you bring in your laws into these other countries, and it's being allowed to happen. Justin Trudeau has dealings with China, very great dealings with China. The Biden administration have done lots of dealings with China. Just saying, folks, But scary times. Russia, China, And you got the Russians coming to observe our chapels and our cathedrals in Salisbury, whilst poisoning everybody around with Novichoks, not nunchucks, but Novichoks. It's fucking well, it's incredible. It's incredible. Most of this stuff, if you made a film out of it, people go, oh, really? You're asking us to believe that, you know, oh, they've got their own police stations and they've already infiltrated, you know, X amount of maybe 10,000, 50,000 soldiers throughout a country. It couldn't happen. It already has happened. It already has happened. Of course, in this country, we have enormous amounts of trouble with immigration and the border force and people crossing the English Channel. They don't just get in via the English Channel. They do come in via other places too, you know. And even though the UK is massively tiny, does that make any sense? Massively tiny. And could fit into Texas 3.5 times, you know. I always use that one. But it's incredible that some states in America are so vast. You know, that our entire country, the British Isles, that's England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland, you know. And all of that can fit into one state. Jesus Christ. But there's still places in this country where you can inveigle yourself into communities and set up little cells of people. I'm not scaremongering, folks. I'm not doing that. I said earlier, I'm not a warmonger. I'm not a scaremonger either. I'm just telling people what is happening. And it is happening. And it could all be totally peaceful. I love Chinese New Year, Kung Hei Fat Choi and all that. I love Chinese food. Love it. Fucking love it. There's a load of Chinese here. When I go dog walking, no. They've got a big walk with them. I pull my dog. No. They've got a dog as well, and it's a lovely family, and I always do stop and talk to them, and they're great. I don't want any of what I've been saying here to come across as being racist or against any particular. Well, no, I am against certain people. I'm against the Russian fucking oligarchs. I'm against the Russian government. I'm against the Chinese government, and I'm against terrorists completely. So yeah, so there's a fucking lot I want stamped out, but grassroots people aren't like that. I'm sure a huge percentage of the Chinese population are lovely. I'm sure they are. And I'm sure a huge percentage of the Russian population are just as nice as well, you know. But something is going on. Something is happening. The very fact that TikTok has been taken down by so many governments now, no government official, certainly in a lot of the Western governments, can't have TikTok on their phone. It's got to be removed. Now, it's long been said that TikTok, being a Chinese thing, is a surveillance gathering tool under the guise of being, you know, just having fun, and it's, you know, all the kids love it, you know, but it's actually fact gathering completely the whole time that it's on. And even when it's not on, it's still observing and listening and compiling data. Oh, you can say what you want, but the fact that the government's now saying, no, you can't have TikTok, and yet TikTok still gets advertised. Let's do a dance. No, let's just do a dance. Yeah, for 30 seconds. Oh, bollocks. What's it really fucking doing? You know, and it's sold under the protective blanket, the shroud of being, it's just entertainment, it's just fun, and you can become a TikTok superstar, yay, or a TikTok detective, as we found out with the Nikki Bully case, missing Nikki Bully. Funny how that's completely gone now, gone, absolutely gone. When you have the likes of the poor Merseyside girl, Olivia Pratt-Corbell, who was shot just before Christmas. Was it just before Christmas? Or back end of summertime. It was last year anyway. By a drug gang assassin who was chasing another drug gang member down a street in Liverpool. And he then broke into a house to avoid this, and the guy shot round the door. shot that fella, shot the mother, and despite all screams, Olivia Pratt Corbell come down the stairs, say, "Mummy, I'm terrified. Mummy, I'm scared. I'm scared." And the bullet apparently went through the mother and killed the daughter. The court case, the court case has been going on. The sentencing was, I think, yesterday, and he was given 42 years. The guy. Absolutely, shocking uproar, but nothing will get done. Nothing will change. The Merseyside police. I've done a lot of knocking of police over the last, couple of years, mainly because I've worked with the police and I know I've done their vetting and I know their criminal records, and yet they're still walking the streets because I couldn't stop that. All I could do was highlight it, but I know they're paedophiles, rapists, murderers, and they not only get the job as a police officer with that track record, they keep the job, get promoted, and get higher security levels as well, and become high-ranking police officers. And now, any surprise that it's all over the headlines? We've had so many huge, big cases of policemen who are policemen who are rapists, murderers, paedophiles. It's huge, it's huge. And of course, during the Nicky Bulley case, when Nicky Bulley went missing, the Lancashire police were proved to be enormously inept and monumentally naive in their sort of communications to the press, the media, and the public. And I'll stand by that. But I also think that case is a complete and utter travesty. Something else way happened there, where the condemning of social media, because it was trying to usher in, whilst that was going on, and they were condemning TikTok detectives, they were trying to usher in another law to limit the amount of social media access to certain things. And the mass media clamped down upon all of this, whilst perpetuating the whole sort of speculation and mystery and intrigue about this case. I saw that partner being interviewed a couple of times on the news and on the big documentary about it. That was the most unconvincing performance I've ever seen. And I've seen movies by Uwe Boll. That was mass. I don't care. I don't care what your opinions are. My opinion is that I don't believe a fucking word of that Nicky Bulley case. I covered it a lot and I still don't believe a fucking word of it. I don't. If Nicky Bulley existed in the first place, then she was sacrificed. I've said it now. I've said it. I've got a lot more on this. A lot more. It isn't just, shock. Oh, God, no. It's not that at all. This was not right from the word go. And the way the media handled it, it was orchestrated. It was designed. The mother of Olivia Pratt Corbell, with great dignity and grace, gave a statement outside the court. Wonderfully eloquent and very passionate and heartfelt. I think it was a friend or maybe the auntie of the poor little girl also gave a great statement as well. Now, that's massively traumatic. That's hit an entire community. It's hit the entire nation because another child gets killed. It's shock and outrage. Now, Nicky Bulley, massive mystery, missing person. Everyone in the world is interested in this. Every news outlet is covering it. But they're condemning the ones that are coming out with different theories. The police are right. They even made scapegoats out of the actual police experts in search and rescue and rivers. I cover this a lot. I have. And you can see the way I was going with the whole thing. But funny how now she's, they found it and she's dead, yeah. But they haven't given the cause of death as yet. But, and the family now want time to grieve. The family of Olivia Pratt Corbell were not given time to grieve. They've given statements and they've spoken a lot. It's funny how this family of the missing Nicky Bulley, that's it now, gone, nothing. Doesn't happen that way, folks. If you were so keen to be on TV during the missing, saga. Wouldn't you be out now? Oh yeah, it's terrible. Our worst fears came true. Nothing. Nothing. No one's covering it at all. There's no follow-up. There's nothing at all. Body found. That's it. Man who photographed it, though, TikTok-y guy who photographed it, got arrested for photographing the body. The body being brought out of the river. The river that had been searched. We didn't look under the reeds there, then. We searched the river up and down for like 14, 15, 16, 18, 20 odd days. Didn't find a thing. We had supersonic radar and sonar and everything. Didn't find a body there. And then a body's found there. Fuck off. You aren't stupid. You're not stupid. Don't fall for all this bloody bullshit that they feed you. That they ram down your throat. They force into your eyeballs. They bleed into your ears with all their indoctrinating shite that they put on the news. It's crap, folks. It's crap. And these things, they're orchestrated. The way that Nicky Bully thing was handled, that was the term media circus. It was theatrical. The whole thing was theatrical and almost pantomime. The acting was that fucking bad. That's the Red Heat soundtrack. I don't recall those little farty bits. So, covered a fair bit, haven't we? Oh, I've got to go on for a bit longer. I always do a peeve of the week, which was banging your fucking head against the brick wall when it comes to governments and politics and mass media news saturation. Trump was going for that, wasn't I? I went off on a massive sidetrack. Of course, like the storming on Capitol Hill. Don't get me started on that. How USA, but it's fucking horns and all that. Like ex-US Navy, published author, well-known activist for great issues. Gets in there, doesn't cause any violence whatsoever, and numerous footage of him being escorted, but not even being escorted. He's walking down through all the corridors of Congress with the police inside it. They're laughing and joking. It got shown in a big TV documentary only a couple of weeks ago, which then got vilified for showing that footage. He's in prison now for like 14 years. And he's not, even when this footage came out, which proved that he didn't cause any violence, he wasn't allowed to see the footage of himself, which could have helped his case. It's also been proved that there was undercover FBI agents in that crowd, and also undercover Washington Metropolitan Police officers undercover in plainclothes who were inciting and shouting, go, 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 just go, go. Let's get in to the building now. USA, they were doing that. What's that then? If you've got these police inciting the crowd to go in, exactly. Who are you working for then? They created this against Trump. Trump, didn't help himself, of course, but you've got to remember this. Trump wanted something like, I think, 30,000 National Guardsmen to protect, Congress. That's what he wanted. But Nancy Pelosi, on the other side, Nancy Pelosi said, no, we don't need that. Local police can handle it. So he wanted the army, the National Guard, to be there to protect the place because he knew what might happen. But she said no, just let the police handle it. And the police, despite the guy on the ground, I don't know all the names. I do know all this story, by the way. I followed it and looked in depth into it. The Metropolitan Police officer on the ground was calling for assistance throughout. He's just, we need help. There's only a handful of us here. We haven't got enough officers. Can you send assistance? And they were not answering. His HQ were not answering his calls. And if they did answer this call, they say, oh, we'll get back to you. Leaving them, they were going to be made scapegoats. They were going to be made scapegoats. If it turned ultra-violent, they would have been took down. Again, ask yourselves what they are showing you. And you can be reactionary towards what I'm saying, but I look on both sides and in all the grey area in the middle. What you're being force-fed is bullshit. There's bullshit at the other end of the spectrum, but the truth is in the middle. You've got to learn to look and analyse, and it's in public domain as well. All the statements, but they don't. It's in the public domain, but you've got to go and look for it because the mass media will not talk about what happened. And we have a British journalist who's he's the American journalist for us. He's British, but he lives in America. I forgot his name now. But he got dragged into the invasion. You know, the riot, Capitol Hill. He got dragged in there. And he made his fucking name. The name I've now forgotten, of course. He's made his name. He did documentaries all about this. You know, it's all propaganda, folks. No one's committing any sort of violence whatsoever in that. People did get hurt. People were crushed. There was, that cop who said they were going to take my gun off me and let's shoot him with his own gun. Bullshit. That did not happen. Absolute fucking propagandist lies. But he was there, and with his microphone, and he's making out he's getting jostled. No one's touching him. No one. They're just in there. They're looking around. What fucking the riots? The most shocking events in recent political history in America. Bullshit. You've got insurgents from the south. Possible Canadian fucking, interaction and collaboration with an enemy state north of the US. You've got gun massacres happening all the time around the states. And Biden, it's funny how Trump says anything and they say, everyone condemns him. He's just on the, he never defends, he's always on the attack. His form of defense is attack. He's got no other fucking choice, has he? He's being massively fucking done in. The things found in his garage are nothing compared to the things found on Hunter Biden's laptop. And no one's talking about that. The FBI closed the case down. Fuck off. Because they're all part of the Biden administration. They're all being bought off. Fucking hell. Got to wake up, folks. Got to wake up and see what's really happening. But, we always got to go with that again. I always do this. Something else will come to me in a minute. What I've got going on right now is a riot because my mind's the synapses are going, and I've got this, I've got that. I'm all in confusion. But that's not what happened on Capitol Hill. That's not. Watch the footage. Watch the extra footage where everyone's very peaceful and walking around in there, and the police and the security guards are just, they're talking to them quite openly and laughing and joking. Are you fucking... So, the riot, the insurrection. My arse. So, Trump, now, if I find things in his garage which are nothing compared to what's on, Hunter Biden's laptop, then they bring up the whole Stormy Daniels thing again. And, Trump would say it's political. It is political! It is political! And he's not stupid. He will use it to try to get back in office. Because he'll bring up all his grassroots followers who are going to believe everything he says. I'm not saying he's right, but he has been done down because they are terrified of Trump getting back in because of what he might do and what he knows and what he could make public once he's in office again. So they're terrified of this. He is the big bogeyman, but they're fucking worse. They are worse than him. By far, they're allowing all this Chinese takeover and infiltration to take place. And doing nothing, ignoring huge ecological disasters when trains derail with chemical fucking eruptions. And ignoring that, which they did, absolute fucking shite. Biden with his alien black eyes. The fuck. And all the gun attacks, the assault weapons. We gotta get rid of assault rifles, assault weapons. We gotta do this. And he's just on a fucking loop because he can't actually say any more words than that because he start frothing. He's a dying old man, for fuck's sake. Sleepy Joe, he's a fucking dying old bastard. He's a fucking idiot as well. And a liar. But funny how Trump gets called out by the mass mainstream because he said, no, this is a political move against me to stop me running for office again. That's all it is. Which, of course, that is all it is. But when Biden says, we've got to get rid of assault weapons and we've got to stop our kids being killed like this. And yet does nothing. Does nothing to stop it. At all. Nothing. Because it goes on every fucking day. We're only in the start of April and there's been something like 400 mass shootings in schools in America already. Under his administration. Ta-da. But does he get called out for it? Does the mass media... Yeah, there's an outcry straight away. Oh, it's all tragedy. And the president sends, made a heartfelt, plea to stop. We've got to get the guns off the street. You're the president. Get the fucking guns off the street, you fucking idiots. Get the guns off the street. You're the man in the most powerful position in the world. Wanker. Fucking wanker. See what I mean? Look how worked up I get. Can you imagine me on a news show? Or me, oh my God, imagine it. Going for office. Becoming an MP. Going for Parliament. Wow. Kilt-Man would shake things up. Fucking would, Fucking would. See, I can be hardline. But you've got to really step out of line for me to be hardline with you. You've got to have proved that you are an absolute vilification of humanity, that you are preying on the weak, you are unjustly exploiting and persecuting other people. And then I'll have you. I'll have you. Whether you're a drug-dealing scumbag, whether you're a little graffiti fucking artist who's hurting people in the neighbourhood, or whether you're a politician or a soldier or a policeman, I'd fucking have you. And I'd really have you. I wouldn't be allowed to do what I really want to do, but you'd be banged up for life, life meaning life. And we get more justice and more confidence and more commitment in communities and in a social sort of euphoria. That's what you'd aim for. It's not what any government aims for. They don't want you to be happy. They do not want you to be happy. They want you to be scared. They want you to be terrified. And they'll keep on doing this. Oh, there's threats of this, threats of that. Oh, God, no. Oh. And another thing, the pollution in our waters around the UK are once they got like a blue flag? They got a blue flag for swimming. If I've got this the wrong way around, I do apologise. A blue flag for swimming. Oh, it's a lovely bathing area. The beaches are gorgeous. And we had loads of blue flag areas. We've lost almost all of them. They're now red flag areas because we're pumping out sewage into the water all the time, into the seas. And the great 80s pop singer Fergal Sharkey is really articulate and incredibly knowledgeable, and he goes out there, he goes into the field and he gets samples. He's got all these other scientists around him and he's lobbying British government to get something done about these water authorities who are just ignoring it all and pumping all this effluence into the seas, causing an ecological disaster, which will make, if you go swimming in that, you're going to get sick, very sick. And they were told, the British government knew about 30 years ago that this was bad. And then they got actually condemned about 10 years ago by the European bloody governing body of pollution, whatever. They got told, you've got to pull your socks up because you're polluting not just your own seas, but it's going to spread and you're at fault. Get it sorted. They got told that 10 years ago and they've done fuck all. Fuck all. about it. And Fergal Sharkey, the great Fergal Sharkey, has been monumentally outspoken. You listen to him in interviews, Jesus, I stutter, I stammer, I go off on tangents. He is direct and he's articulate and eloquent and really forceful. And God, this is his thing now. Wow, you know, he's a trailblazer. So hats off to Fergal Sharkey. I admire you, sir. But, you know, the corruption and the lies, the deceit of governments, I'm not preaching to the unconverted. You all know this. You all know it. Once government gets in position of power, all their promises just go out the window. They don't give a fuck, do they? Why should they? Because they've got all these expenses. You know, they've got their own bar in fucking Westminster. You know, they've got their own bar there, which is open 24/7. You know, they can fall asleep on the bloody benches during, you know, Prime Minister's questions time. Fucking hell. What? I worked so many years, fucking government and the military. 36 years. Fuck 'em, you know. Fuck 'em. If I hadn't gone now, I would have gone a few years ago during Partygate with Boris Johnson, that fucking shitbag. I would have gone then, but I was advised not to. But now I have gone. Yeah, so fuck 'em, you know. Cheers, y'all. It wasn't meant to be a rant. But the more you look into these things, you watch the news, you watch the mainstream news, whatever country you're in, you watch that news there. And then, ordinarily, you just, you just accept it. Go and do your own research. There's nothing to stop you doing that. Go and find other news channels which are not on the mainstream. Go and look at them. Google things. Go and read up reports a lot, because all these reports get posted up. It's just that no one goes to look at them. And you see all the indictments. You see all the things that companies have done wrong. All the lies and deceit that have gone on. You see it all. And the court cases. And the people who took companies and other institutions to court. And suddenly the whole world becomes a different place. And they realise, shit. See, whatever that bird is chirping out there now, it's a Chinese spy. He's reporting back. Kilt-Man's off on one again. Better send him some chicken green pepper or some sweet and sour chicken. That'll calm him down. Right, earworm of the week. Okay, I forgot what I put down and I've just looked at it. Yes. Okay, let's see if we can find this. We got so many birds cheeping, chirping, chirping outside here. It's lovely. It is lovely, actually. I did a video once on the Escape from New York birds, I called them. You all know, Escape from New York is one of my all-time favourite movies. Look at that, what are they doing out there? You know, maybe I've inspired them. There's one little fucking thrush there. Careful. It was like telling the world, don't listen to all the bullshit. You know, his wings are like that. Whoa, Kilt-Man's right. You know, he's painting his wings tartan. You know. We have the birds, which I christened years and years ago, the Escape from New York birds, and they actually, their song is the main theme to Escape from New York, which is, it sounds like a dirge when I do it. Dun 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 dun, and they do it. They go and it goes on for ages and ages every morning, and it was funny. Now it's kind of annoying, to be honest. But I did a video actually on it, and I did record them. You have to go back and find that. think it's just called The Escape from New York Birds, I think. But anyway, let's go on to, where the hell is it? Not there. And this is a bit more sort of ebullience and fun. Oh, where the hell is it? No, that's wrong. I can't even find it now. I've written it down, so it definitely was looking at it, and I've definitely got it. I'll have to put it in on a search. I do apologise, folks. Got it. Okay. And this is Thundercats from the 80s. I always preferred this to He-Man. He-Man was great, but Thundercats was better because, you know, I've got Lion-O's hair and all that. And it was just, it was a bit grungier. It was a bit fucking more, you know, Prince Adam, you know, his pink garb and all that. Ah, bollocks. But Thundercats was great. Now listen, it's by Bernard Hoffer, and this opening theme is just okay. Let's get on it. And you had Mum Ra, the skeletal mummy type bastard. He was the evil nemesis. Feel the magic, hear the roar. The guitar going. And then you get introduced to Mum Ra. It's the opening title sequence. And Mum Ra does this big roar. Big kick in the balls. Boof! Oh, he's done that thing. He's banged his head. He's come on, he's gone, oh! Let's do it again. That's Panthro's theme. They're all humanoid cats, aren't they? Lion-O's obviously a lion. Panthro's obviously a panther. But this is it's like it's purely 70s, you know, blaxploitation, rock and soul fused together. But fuck that. We're going back on this again. And yes, a Sword of Omens. Sword of Omens, not quite. And then we switch to Mum Ra getting kicked in his beastly bollocks. Great, what a great show. And the cats. Oh, I'm knackered. Well, you can't beat a good rant and a rave. That's what we've had. Been brilliant. Glad to have you aboard. You know, keep in tune, keep in sync, keep fighting the good fight. That's all you got left, folks. That's all you got left. They are trying to take the world from us, but we outnumber them. gazillions to one. We do. A little fucking, what's this going on here? A little fucking will-o-wisp top of my head. We outnumber them. That's why they're afraid of us, because we massively outnumber them. Remember that. They might have the top 1% of wealth and all that, and a huge gap, which we allowed them to create, by the way. But you can take it back. Take it back. Got to unify, got to get together, band together, fight back. Don't fall for it. Stop watching fucking... No, you've got to watch the news to see what they're saying, to see what narrative they're pushing. But then you've got to look at that to then, okay, right, well, that's clearly a lie. So I'll do my own investigation into it, which you can. So, which is why, you know, they want to clamp down on social media, because people talk and people reveal things, people whistleblow, and they do it on social media. So why do they not like social media so much? Because of that. Why do they want to limit your freedom when it comes to social media, which they do want to do? But they'll do it under the guise of there's too much bullying on social media. Oh yeah, everything is, whether you're a celebrity, you're a news presenter, you're a school child, you know, you're getting bullied, and you know, you've got to clamp down on this. But really, nothing gets clamped down on, does it, when it comes down to that? They'll clamp down on it because people are blowing the whistle on what they're really getting up to. Cheers, y'all. Food for thought. And whiskey for my ever-depleted liver. Folks, take it all with a pinch of salt, or, you know, batten down the hatches. There's worse to come. There is. But anyway, in the meantime, this ever rebellious, sparky, Thundercatty in between time. Please keep it Celtic, keep it Celtic. And I am going to see you all